Task Force, it became apparent to me that we were following breadcrumbs, and more than once it occurred to me that Dave Crawford was the one that was dropping the breadcrumbs. Dave's our executive director. He's a good friend. He's had he's had 6 tough years. The last year particularly tough. Dave, during that time, has acted as director of our organization, fundraiser, banker, developer, contractor, realtor, father confessor. It has been a difficult few years. It has been his responsibility to encourage architects from across the state, and he's done all of that while running an organization of 2,200 architects, most of whom have had other concerns during what has been a difficult period for architects. Dave held up. We all held up. We're here today in a large part to Dave Crawford, and I'd like to introduce my good friend, our director, Dave Crawford.
Thank you, Mike. I was tasked for doing the AIA perspective in your agenda here, but a couple things I need to do first, and those are some personal thank yous, because of this, as you know, has been a long time coming. The first person I want to thank is, well, maybe blame, is Steve Schuster, for being the first to get me into this mess. And always finding the funds when we needed it. Second is Alan McGuinn from Asheville for really refining the vision in the long-range plan in 2005 and guiding us through a very complex design phase. Next is Irv Pierce for his skillful construction expertise and dogged persistence in value engineering. And of course for Mike Cox for keeping us focused on the vision and being the voice of reason during months of contract negotiations. And the last person I want to thank personally is Walt Teague for being the AIA's own Energizer Bunny and keeping all the parts of this machine moving for the last 6 years. As a group, I absolutely have to thank the board of directors and all of our members around the state for really sticking with us when really the easy path on this project would have been just to give up. And many of you in the audience here who are architects know that a lot of your clients did just that during the recession. From the design and construction project team, I've got to thank our architect, Frank Harmon, for having 2,400 architects as his client. Y'all might want to try that someday. Of course, Clancy and Thays, our general contractor, and specifically Tick and Tim Clancy for the company's investment in this project over the last 6 years. For BB&T, they're our banking institution that really helped us through the tumultuous bond financing process. And of course, the more than 60 companies and individuals who have donated so far to this project. They've donated in excess right now of $500,000 in both products and services. I have to thank the mayor who's here as well. He was really instrumental in helping guide us through the regulatory process at the city level to getting access to the $3 million in the recovery zone facility bond, which this project would not have happened without that financing. And of course the Wake County Commissioners for authorizing the bond as well. And lastly, to LNR and the Blunt Street Commons project for letting us inhabit in their neighborhood. Now, I'm going to give you the AIA perspective, and some of you will find this familiar because about 3 years ago you received a mailing from us that had a lot of this text in here. But in 2008, we started the fundraising campaign for the new center and created a theme for it and for the project itself. We called it Building in Context, Presence, and Promise. Architecture is about relationships, the relationship of buildings to people, the relationship of design elements to one another, the relationship of the built environment to the natural environment. This is what we mean by context, and exactly the reason we're creating the AIA North Carolina Center for Architecture and Design. The building part of building in context really has two meanings. It's about construction of our new physical space and also providing services to our members from a strategic location in our state capital. Through the new center, we're building the architectural profession in the context of the larger economic, aesthetic, and technological forces at work today, and we intend to create and foster collaborative relationships for the future. The center will be the focal point for the profession across North Carolina. Its mission will be to give the public a context for values of architects and architecture, to enhance services to our chapter members, to educate both the public and architects, and to promote the profession of architecture and quality environments for living. The high-impact presence of the new center in the hub of North Carolina's capital city will give the architectural profession its face to the public. The center will incorporate an array of programs and concepts created to enhance appreciation of all aspects of architecture and design across the state and among all its citizens. As we develop the broader context for the profession through the center, AIA North Carolina will be able to accommodate and accelerate our statewide programs, be a living showcase for the practical application of architectural design, and become the destination for lawmakers, opinion leaders, students, educators, and the public to connect with the profession. The architectural profession is in a time of transition. Sweeping changes are affecting the art and technology of both design and construction. Now, at the same time, larger political and social, environmental, and economic forces are at work, giving rise to constant shifts in practice. The center will take the lead in strengthening the role of architects among decision makers, allied professions, and the public. In its design, in its reflection of the profession's values and its visible presence, this building will energize and empower AIA North Carolina's mission of education, public awareness, and service to its members. In the context of today's growing environmental awareness, the center has been designed and sited with an intentional focus on integrating the built and natural environments. The building and this site form a working model showcasing regional and sustainable design. While during the inevitable budget-cutting sessions over the last few years, it would have been easy to eliminate sustainable features of the building that add upfront costs, like the geothermal wells or the porous paving. But I was heartened by our leaders' resolve to keep these elements in the project as a testament to our core values and a demonstration to all who build in this state that the life cycle costs are just as important to a project as the upfront costs. Last week, Mike Weldon here in Raleigh wrote an article for the Huffington Post, and the opening of the piece reads like this. When it breaks ground on its new headquarters building in downtown Raleigh on December 9th, the North Carolina chapter of the American Institute of Architects also will be deploying 3 essential tools needed to scale this cliff-like economic downturn known as the Great Recession. They are vision, courage, and leadership. With its new 4-story, 12,000 square foot structure, AIA North Carolina is stepping up to put its money where its mouth is. It's not counseling clients to spend and build themselves. No, instead, it's setting an example for the rest of the state and the nation. AIA NC is moving forward with a $5 million building dedicated to the concepts of transparency, sustainability, and sensitivity to the heart of downtown. It's a gutsy move. End quote. It's taken a lot of vision, commitment, and cooperation, but today we're here to celebrate our building in context, creating a presence today to achieve the promise for tomorrow. Thank you.